I think that it is quite clear that the vast majority of American policymakers and members of the foreign policy elite believe that the United States has a vested interest in maintaining peace in Europe. And by staying in Europe, we keep the peace. And there are two reasons for that. One is we believe that it is economically important to keep the peace in Europe, because if a war breaks out in Europe, that will have disastrous consequences for the international economy. And secondly, it's widely believed that we will get dragged in. So why not just stay there to begin with, prevent war, rather than leave and have to come back?
I'm completely convinced that it's in my interest to win the lottery and retire before time. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
I want to push back, with all due respect, against John's point that we need American military in Europe to stop us from killing each other. Forgive me, John, but that's ludicrous. I think that is just the least likely thing to happen in Europe right now.
Did somebody start to clap? Because we're good. We're good with that, as I said in the beginning.
You also need us in security terms. You have first-order strategic interests in Europe that your troops in Europe protect, and you would be less able to protect them. You will be less able to pursue those goals if you weren't in Europe and if we weren't letting you.
But you're making
And we're not saying you're not protecting us too.
It's one thing to argue that that Europe does not need the United States in order to prevent war amongst European countries. But that's quite a separate question from Europe not having an interest in the United States being committed to NATO.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah. Because there is the Russian threat, and there are other common goals that NATO and through the United States can secure. And so it doesn't seem to me that you're actually addressing our main argument that there are these common security interests.